We are live. We are live. Shout out to everybody that's here right now. We are live, man. Good evening to everybody. Good evening to y'all, man. Hold on, man. What is happening right now? What's going on right now, guys? Trump just fired Pam Bondi. I won't say he just fired Pam Bondi, but he fired Pam Bondi. Everybody is saying that he ousted her, he relieved her. Some people saying that she's still in the administration, but she's just going to a different role, right? And also uh, Pete Hegseth has also relieved one of the army chief, one of the top army chief has been relieved from his duty. So he is out. And while all of this is happening, missiles are literally raining down in Israel from Iran and Yemen. While all of this is happening, right? So while people are being let go, and I'm hearing reports, I'm hearing that this is not the last of people being let go. This won't be the last. Okay, and so we saw that Krusty Gnomes was let go, right? And so she was replaced, and now we're seeing. I just got a message. We saw that she was replaced. We saw everybody's been gunning for Pam Bundy for a while. Everybody's been gunning for her for a while, and it's finally come around to be her day this time. So, and now we seeing that the Army Chief George, what's his name? I gotta get his name. But we're gonna watch a video here in a minute. Let me see who all in the chat because I'm not even looking at it real quick. Let me see who's all in the chat. Who's all in the chat? Hope everybody's doing well. We about to get into this quick video really quick. We're about to get into this. Hit the like button on the way in, guys. Hit the like button on the way in. Shout out to Chris. What's going on? What's up, Icy Fox? J Dunn in the building. What's going on, man? Long time haven't been here. Sorry, it's all good. Icy Fox, man. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, man. Too many people be getting fired. Yes, it's crazy because it's like, bro. I mean, is it normal that this many people are being fired like that? Is it normal that we're seeing so many people get fired from this administration? Let go, replaced, resign, right? We got people resigning from top positions. Joe Kent was resigned from his position. Pam Bundy let go. Krusty Gnomes let go. Army Chief let go. We're seeing all of these things happen in real time. And so, before we get into the videos, the president definitely released a video today on Israel. And so we're gonna watch that video, guys. Hit the like button on the way in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel at the top. It's good to see Chris in the building. It's good to see Icy Fox in the building. It's good to see Jay Dunn in the building. It's good to see all my people here in the building. Trump got impeached again, right? Have been busy doing 3D 3D print business. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun, man. But we're gonna get into this video right here because the president just released it not too long ago. He did a video on Passover in Israel, and so you guys let me know what you think about this down in the chat as he sent a message to Israel today to address Passover. All right, so let's get into it right here. Here we go.
Our wonderful Jewish American community and to Jews celebrating in Israel and around the world this week, I want to wish you a very happy Passover. Over 3,000 years ago, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob delivered the ancient Israelites out of slavery and brought them into the promised land. It was an amazing period of time, just like today we have an amazing period of time. The journey started with faith in God's word, and it ended with a miraculous march through the Red Sea and an astounding exodus out of Egypt. The world has never been the same. This week, we recall this ancient proof of God's faithfulness and are reminded that with true faith, eternal hope, and the power of prayer, nothing can stop the people of God. As Jewish families and loved ones gather together for Seder dinner, we ask that God will continue to watch over the Jewish people and that he may continue to preserve and protect the United States of America for generations to come. Our country is doing better than it has ever done. I am very happy to report. Happy Passover.
All right, so that was the video today that the president released. What do you guys think about that down in the chat? That was a quick video. He do this every year, obviously, right during Passover when while he's the president, obviously. But he put that video out today for Israel to address them and their holidays, right? To address them and their holidays today during Passover. So um, we're gonna move on to the next video. Hope everybody's doing well. Shout out to Adam in the chat. Adam said, "Why aren't you effing?" Damn, Adam, why you cussing, man? Why you cussing, bro? Adam said, "Why aren't you effing looking up why Pam Bondi was let go? She spent a lot of money to promote herself." I thought that was Krusty Gnomes. Wasn't that Krusty Gnomes who spent a lot of money to promote herself? I didn't know it was Pam Bondi too. My bad. My bad, bro. A book written by people who claim to be God shows the people nothing suspicious about that. Sounds like you got a point. A lot of love from Australia. May God bless America. Shout out to Philip, man. Shout out to Philip in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I didn't know it was Passover. I didn't know either. Didn't care. Don't really care either. He's a clown. Dylan said, okay, not bad. President of Israel. Damn, Iran is blessing them every night. Sure is. And we're gonna get into that. While the president is promoting that we are decimating Iran and we're stopping their missile capabilities. We're doing this. We're doing that. Meanwhile, Yemen, Lebanon, and Iran are literally simultaneously raining down strikes as we speak uh, in the region in Israel. So Pam Bondi, despite firing, will still need to answer to Congress about Epstein files. House Democrats say. All right. So we're gonna get into this real quick. Let's just see what we can do here. And I want to make sure you guys can actually see this too. So let me make sure we zoom this because I don't want this to be uh, too small. All right. So even though Pam Bondi is no longer serving as the U.S. Attorney General, congressional Democrats say she will still need to answer to lawmakers about her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation and more. So they're saying, hey, hold on, ma'am. we we know we know you got let go, but you still have a lot to answer to. You still got to come before the oversight committee and answer a lot of these questions that we have. Man, I'm telling y'all right now, if that happens, I think that they are subpoenaing her to be to appear before the oversight committee on April 14th. I think that's the date they said that she has to appear. Um, so, yo, if she couldn't handle the questions as the AG, now that she's not the AG, bro, it's gonna be hell. It's gonna be hell on earth. Democrat, Democrat Republican representative. I'm sorry, Representative Robert Garcia and Dave Min both called for Pondy to comply with a House Oversight Committee subpoena on Thursday, following news of her departure from Trump administration. So I still think that's kind of small. Let me make that bigger. Pause. All right, let me see. Hopefully that's good. What's up, Aisha? How you doing? Everyone like and sub up. Definitely hit the subscription, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for being here. All right, shout out to California Love. Shout out to Homestead. Shout out to Joe Mama. Shout out to TK. Remember, Christians, you celebrate Easter and not Passover. Okay, 15. It's the 15th. Somebody said it's the 15th. Okay. All right. So it's the 15th. All right. So, Garcia from Long Beach serves as a top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, which is meant to serve as a check on Washington. Men from Irvine also serves on that body. So, the Trump administration on Thursday announced that Bundy had been fired from the position as the country's top law enforcement officer. President Donald Trump said that she is instead moving to a much needed and important new job in the private sector. I don't understand what is more important, much needed and important new job in the private sector. What is more important than the top law enforcement officer, attorney general position? What? I don't understand that. Like, what is more important than that? So I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to keep the peace and keep her on the administration. Maybe there's no bad blood there, but she did embarrass the whole administration though during those different damn, why can't I? Let me do this really quick. I gotta zoom. Come on, screen. There we go. What's hood with it? What's up, Sterling? What's going on, brother? How you doing? What's going on, bro? All right, so Democrats and other Trump advisories, though, held Bondi's removal from the position, citing their ongoing concerns with her handling of the Epstein files and unwarranted investigation into Trump political foes, including Senator Schiff. Adam Schiff, I think that's his name, Swift or Sif. Bundy will be expected to answer for all of those concerns when she is compelled to testify before the House Oversight Committee for the first time, local Democratic lawmakers said. So the Oversight Committee secured a subpoena for Bundy's appearance that will apply despite her firing, Garcia said at a news conference in Long Beach. Okay, so somebody said the 15th, but the article is showing the 14th. The article is actually showing the 14th. So, who are we to believe on that front? Okay. All right. So, the subpoena will require Bundy to come before the House Oversight Committee for a deposition on April 14th. April 14th. April 14th. All right. Garcia said, and will apply to the former attorney general regardless of her firing. Now, our lawyers and outside experts have made it clear that she's legally required to testify, even though she is no longer the AG. During her testimony, Garcia added, Bundy will be questioned about more than just the Epstein files. She's weaponized the government. She's tried to meddle with the U.S. elections. She's gone after Donald Trump's enemies as Attorney General. And of course, most importantly, she has withheld 50% of the Epstein files, Garcia said. All right, so my message to the Attorney General is very clear, and that is you now have an opportunity to come clean. Garcia said, you now have an opportunity to be honest. You don't work for Donald Trump anymore. Pam Bondi, you should do the right thing and be honest with the public. So, I mean, I don't know. They're saying that they're going to keep on the Trump administration. Tomorrow sure is 4-4. Tomorrow is your birthday. That's right. Connor, what's up, Connor, bro? How you doing, man? Tomorrow is your birthday. 4-4. That's right. That is that is correct. That's right. So she's weaponized the government. Even though she's my message to her is come clean. You have the opportunity to be honest. You don't work for Donald Trump anymore. Apparently, she's still gonna be working for Donald Trump. She's still gonna be working for Donald Trump, but just not as the AG. So I don't think she's gonna completely throw him under the bus. We'll see how she. We'll be looking forward to that deposition, and you know your boy is probably gonna be going live during that time for sure, for sure. All right. So let's get it right here. Men echoed similar sentiments. He said, while I am glad she is no longer the Attorney General, her termination is not enough. Men said she must comply with the subpoena we issued and appear before our committee. I can almost bet she probably won't even appear. I can almost bet she probably won't appear. A spokesperson for the Justice Department was not immediately available for comment Thursday, but Todd Blanche, right? Todd Blanche, who was named acting AG, said in a social media post, Bondi led this department with strength and conviction, and I'm grateful for her leadership. Boy, how you lie, Todd Blanche. How you lie so hard. Meanwhile, Garcia said the committee has had other former federal government officials, including former President Bill Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and former Attorney General Bill Barr, come in to testify regarding the Epstein files. All right. If she is going to try to hide behind the fact that she's no longer the AG, that is not acceptable, Garcia said. She has to come testify in front of the committee, or we will hold her in contempt of Congress. Mm, mm. Bondi, Pam Bondi, considered a Trump loyalist, has been under heavy scrutiny from conservatives and progressives for her department handling of the Epstein files. In 2025, she alleged in 2025 she alleged that financiers' client list was on her desk for review, but the Justice Department later said no such documents existed. Mm. She also faced blowback, sorry, blowback when her department distributed binders of Epstein files that turned up no new revelations, followed by the Justice Department announcing in July that it would not release any more documents. Congress then passed a bill forcing it to release more documents. All right. She, of course, claimed initially that the files were on her desk. We know that that's not true anymore. She tried to call this investigation a hoax. That also obviously is not true, Garcia said. He accused the Justice Department under her leadership of revealing the names of some of the Epstein survivors against their wishes, and said Bundy refused to meet with survivors despite multiple requests from them to do so. So, despite millions of pages of documents having now been released, millions more still have not been made public, and members of the House Oversight Committee have continued to demand further answers. So, what's up, chat? What's going on, chat? Hope everybody's doing well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. She be cleaning the Oval Office, and Cash Patel is next. It's the Apprentice Office Oval Office edition. I like that. The Apprentice Oval Office edition. Cash Patel is next, y'all. Y'all think Cash Patel is next? Put a one in the chat. If y'all think Cash Patel is on his way out, put a one in the chat. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know. Take a swig of water, man, while y'all hit that like button real quick. We almost done with this article. Believe it or not, everybody think I'm so biased, but this is a right-wing article, I believe. I'm reading this right-wing article because it had some high factuality information in it. So everybody think I always read left-wing articles, and that's not true. So we get into this article from the OC. What is this? The OC Register. It's a right-wing um, article here. The White House, meanwhile, hailed Bundy's performance as AG over the past year on Thursday, when it also announced her departure. Pam Bondi is a great American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as Attorney General over the past year, Trump said in a statement. He added, "We love Pam. She will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future." All right, so before becoming the nation's chief law enforcement officer, Bundy was the state attorney general in Florida. All right, she pledged when she took over the U.S. Justice Department in February 2025 not to politicize the department, but when it started investigating individuals perceived as political enemies of Trump, including Sif, as well as Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, which Donald Trump hates that guy. Donald Trump literally hates that guy, Jerome Powell. Nothing much, just chilling. Had a good day at work yesterday. I just subscribed to your channel, Sterling. All praise, all praises. That's what's up. That's what's up. The Godfather channel. That's funny. Oh man, Sterling said I have a channel. I got to check. Oh man, so Jerome Powell, New York Attorney General Letitia James. So Donald Trump literally hates Letitia James. He hates Jerome Powell, and I don't know the SIF guy. I don't really know him, so apparently he hate him too. And former FBI Director James Comey and former CIA Director John Brennan. Critics cried foul. All right, so we're almost at the end of this article. Bundy has rejected accusations that she politicized the Justice Department and said her mission was to restore the institution credibility after overreach by President Joe Biden's Democratic administration with two federal criminal cases against Trump. And her defenders have said she worked to refocus the department to tackle illegal immigration and violent crime and brought much needed change to an agency they believe unfairly targeted conservatives. All right. And lastly, Sif, one of Trump's biggest adversaries, who the Justice Department started to investigate for alleged mortgage fraud, though the probe has since stalled, said on social media Thursday that Bondi oversaw an unprecedented weaponization of the Justice Department that included countless and baseless political investigations and other offenses. Her firing does not mitigate the need for her to answer for her conduct as AG, and Todd Blanche should expect to receive the same scrutiny. All right. So Todd Blanche is not off the hook, guys. He is not off the hook in this situation. What's up, Jerry? What's going on? Drain the swamp. What's going on? What's up with it, Monty? What's going on, y'all? Hit the like button on the way in. We just getting it. This is a right wing article here coming from the Orange County Register. The Orange County Register. All right, so that's the article that we're reading right there. The news article that we're reading. And so we just listened to the president give a speech, and I don't think we got more people that just came in, so we'll go ahead and let you guys listen to that again. To all the new people that just came in, we'll let you guys hear this again. So here we go.
To our wonderful Jewish American community and to Jews celebrating in Israel and around the world this week, I want to wish you a very happy Passover. Over 3,000 years ago, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob delivered the ancient Israelites out of slavery and brought them into the promised land. It was an amazing period of time, just like today we have an amazing period of time. The journey started with faith in God's word, and it ended with a miraculous march through the Red Sea and an astounding exodus out of Egypt. The world has never been the same. This week, we recall this ancient proof of God's faithfulness and are reminded that with true faith, eternal hope, and the power of prayer, nothing can stop the people of God. As Jewish families and loved ones gather together for Seder dinner, we ask that God will continue to watch over the Jewish people and that he may continue to preserve and protect the United States of America for generations to come. Our country is doing better than it has ever done. I am very happy to report. Happy Passover.
Oh, y'all think Trump ever read the Bible? Do y'all think Donald Trump will celebrate the Passover? Do y'all think he know anything about the Passover? Anything about Israelite history? I don't think he know anything about it. I don't think he know anything about it. That's just my opinion. So I don't know. Mm. Oh my gosh. All right, so we're gonna go to Fox News and then we're gonna go to CNN. We're gonna go to Fox News and then we're gonna go to CNN. We'll go to Fox News and then we're gonna go to CNN.
All right, let's get straight to the White House again. Peter Ducey is standing by. Peter, what are you hearing was the main frustration of President Trump's when it came to Pam Bondi, obviously making it very clear that the relationship was still intact, but he no longer wanted her to run the place?
Sandra, I can tell you that I phoned President Trump to ask him once these reports started coming out that the Attorney General had been told that her time, it was nearing the end of her time at the Justice Department, and the President said he was preparing some remarks. We think that it is going to be the official announcement about the Attorney General Bondi leaving the Justice Department. She will not be leaving the administration. They are going to find a different job for her. So President Trump thinks that she did a good job. President Trump still likes her, but at the time, at this time, he feels like Todd Blanche should be elevated in an interim role. So the plan, at least as of the last couple minutes, and a lot of things are changing, is to name Todd Blanche in an interim role as the country's top law enforcement officer running the Justice Department. We are hearing a lot of different things about why this might happen. We think President Trump will elaborate on that more. But when you talk to people here at the White House, it is very important to them just to reiterate that there's not bad blood right now with Bondi leaving. And we know that she was.
Is Todd Blanche any better? I mean, is he any better at this point? At this point, boy, Tom Homan just might need to take over the whole thing. Tom Homan just might need to be the border czar, the AG. Tom Homan might just he the one with the track record. He might just have to take over the entire thing. But the Justice Department and the intelligence agency says there's no thread from Iran, but Trump crystal ball says different. Yes, sir. Very good Friday. Yep, Trump can barely read. He's definitely not reading the Bible. He doesn't have a favorite verse. Can't even quote anything. That's crazy.
in the front row at the president's remarks last night during his address to the nation. So she is somebody that he still wants to have around, but he wants Todd Blanche, who has been with the president during some of the hardest times of his political life when he was dealing with all these many lawsuits during the 4 years in between his first term and his second term. Todd Blanche was right there with them, fighting on the president's defense, legal defense. And now Todd Blanche gets a crack, at least temporarily, as the Attorney General of the United States.
Peter, we were just showing the video, a reminder to our viewers yesterday, when the president appeared at the Supreme Court to hear the government's arguments in his case. He arrived with Pam Bondi.
Yeah, I wonder what they talked about in the car, because that was just more than 24 hours ago. And again, it seems like she and the president still have a good relationship, but she will no longer be his attorney general.
Yeah, and I know certainly just in the last few days, President Trump has praised her and said Attorney General Pam Bondi, he said, is a wonderful person and she is doing a great job. So certainly still support for her there. When you look back at...
I mean, he knew. I thought it would be sooner than this, though, Sterling. I mean, how long ago we was talking about that? When she was doing the deposition, you know, when she had the deposition and she was talking about the Dow and all that stuff, and then everybody was like, you know, we need to get rid of Pam. Pam Bondi needs to go. I mean, even right wing conservatives. I mean, even conservatives was like, you know, she's not a good fit for the position. So I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know why it took this long for him to relieve her of her duties. I mean, that was a month ago, I believe. This was always the plan. Same with Christy Nomes. Yeah, because Sterling, we were talking about that, man. We was talking about how I was gonna do a live about a lot of the women are taking the fall. Like he's setting up all these women. I wouldn't be surprised if Caroline, this the White House, what's her position? The press secretary, Caroline Levitt. She might be next too. Because didn't Donald Trump just say like the other day that she didn't do a good job or something like that? She's not doing a good job or something. He said she's doing a poor job. He said something along those lines. So I wouldn't be surprised if she next. She might be out the door next too.
At her time as Attorney General, what sort of stands out to you?
You know, she is somebody who was pretty much in lockstep with President Trump on just about all of his legal priorities, but she wound up taking as much incoming as anybody from congressional Democrats.
I wonder why.
Every time that they would haul her before Congress for whatever the issue was, it seemed like she had to be the one that was taking the most incoming. And she never really deviated from the line that folks here at the White House were using. But they want to shake things up. And we expect to hear some specifics about why they want to shake things up. But all that we know at this moment is that the president feels like it is time.
Yeah. And that he informed her last night before the speech. So, Peter, you can obviously hear the media fired up on all sides of you there at the White House. Is the Todd Blanche an interim replacement? Obviously, he's the deputy AG.
I don't know, man. It's just something about her. It's something about her that's just off. Something about her is just off, man. I don't want to say the wrong thing. She looked like she'll just stab a person in the back, bro. I swear she do. Just look at her. She just looked like she just was. I don't know. I don't like it, chat. I don't like it. Look like one of them dirty ones.
Or will he step in for the time being, or is that, do you think, a full-time replacement for Bondi?
I am told that Todd is going to be the temporary replacement, the interim replacement. There are some names that are out there. The New York Times is reporting that Lee Zeldin has talked to the president about the possibility. We know that there are also a bunch of former state attorney generals who are serving as Republicans in the Senate right now. We don't know how seriously President Trump would look at any of them, or if there's somebody from outside the administration, not an elected lawmaker, who the president might like for this. But it is an important job. And the president's going to have some time because he is elevating Todd Blanche, somebody that he has known for a long time, somebody that he really trusts, at least temporarily. And as for what comes next for Bondi, we don't know. But she's not just going home to Florida. She is going to have some other job within the administration.
What's up,
We don't know
John?
what that is, and we don't know if she knows what that is, because this is all happening just in the last couple of minutes.
Looks like we're getting a little bit more color on the situation through our reporter Aisha Hassi. She says she just spoke with Bondi before you broke the news, Peter. She said she's working right now in Florida filming a child ID kit for abducted children with the NFL. She flew into Tampa this morning and went straight to work. They will share those pictures soon, but no specific comment on the firing. So we'll see what comes from the president here shortly. Peter, stand by with us on the breaking news.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. And for now, let's go to Fox News Justice correspondent David Spunt. Hi, David. What have you heard?
Shout out to everybody in chat, man. Hit that like button on the way in. Trump is a womanizer. Everyone he fires look hot. Bundy is a fox now. Wait to see she turn on Trump. She'll be a stone cold fox. Yeah, she might turn on him like what's her name? Uh damn, what's the other lady that turned on Trump when he let her go? I can't think of her name right now, y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. She a blonde too. Damn. Damn, I can't think of her name right now. It'll come to me in a minute. But just like that other lady he let go, turned on him. Damn, what's her name? Sterling? I can't think of her damn name. Marjorie. Yeah, Marjorie. Marjorie. Yep. She turned on him quick. She turned on him quick when he let her go. But maybe that's what they were talking about in the car. He was probably advising her to tread lightly. We're gonna let you go, but you better tread lightly. You better not come out the gate trying to throw me under the bus for anything, because we know you have access to everything. Marjorie Green, that's right, Marjorie Green. So I could imagine what those talks were like in that car today when he informed her that he was letting her go. We know you have information, access to classified information. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. She from ATL? Okay, I thought she was. Yeah, she's from that area. I think she's from Rome, or I think that's where her congressional seat was in Rome, Georgia. Yeah, so
Well, we knew that Pam Bondi, the former attorney general, was on thin ice for a long time with this administration, though she has a personal close relationship with President Trump. She's known him for years. She was the attorney general in the state of Florida. He's a resident of Florida. She was his attorney during his impeachment trial in the Senate during his first term. So President Trump and Pam Bondi have a good personal relationship. But we know administration officials were not happy with the way the Epstein files were handled. This is something that has really hurt the Attorney General since she came into office in February of 2025. Just some history there. She comes into office February 2025, and then a few weeks later, in an interview with John Roberts, I believe it was during.
I get that though. I don't understand how he wasn't or they wasn't happy with the way she was handling the Epstein files when she was taking orders from the president. She was doing everything the president told her to do. So I don't know if it's just how she was handling the deposition, how she was handling the questionings on live TV, or what. But I think she did everything that the president advised her to do. So
During this hour on Fox News with John and Sandra said the Epstein files were on her desk, or the files were on her desk when she was asked about the Epstein files. She later clarified and said that she meant the JFK files, the RFK files, the Martin Luther King files, as well as the Epstein files. But there were so many more questions just about the overall handling of the Justice Department dealing with the Epstein files. And the Epstein files story really never went away from Attorney General Bond. Bondi. Over the summer, DOJ put out a
Charges won't stop, James, just because they're dipping out. They still can subpoena them. They still can bring them in. Charges still can be brought forward. They still can be probed. It don't matter. They can leave all they want. They still could be probed, just like how they tried to investigate Joe Kent when he resigned. So, still can happen.
release, and they said that there would be nothing further warranted from the Epstein files. No charges would be filed. The case is essentially closed. And then Deputy Attorney General, now I guess we could call him Interim Attorney General Todd Blanche, met with Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend and co-conspirator, convicted co-conspirator. So the story never fully went away. In fact, Bondi was supposed to testify before Congress in a deposition about Epstein on April 14th, in just a couple of weeks. So she clearly will no longer have to do that. The video on the other side of the screen, as I look right there, that was her on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. That's after coming out of a closed-door briefing with members of the House to talk about the Epstein files. But members of Congress, they were not satisfied with the answers they were getting from the administration.
Raven.
And Bondi ultimately had to answer those questions when she came out, and would have had to answer during a deposition. Guys.
David Spun, thanks so much, David. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, let's bring in our chief legal correspondent and host of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream, is here on the breaking news as well. She joins us by phone. Shannon, your thoughts as we learn more details?
Yeah, guys, I think that there had been such pressure on the Attorney General on so many different fronts to deliver for the president. As, you know, David referenced these things. There were a lot of promises coming in about the RFK or JFK files, about Martin Luther King Jr. files, about Epstein. And there was so much pressure that, you know, some folks thought she got ahead of what they were able to deliver at the DOJ, that there were times that there were promises that, you know, leveled a lot of expectations. And the president had his own expectations. We remember the odd tweet that went out that many people believed was supposed to be a direct message to her, asking about possible cases involving possible political rivals or settling scores, those kinds of things. And the president clearly wanting her to be aggressive on a number of fronts. And maybe that's why some of the promises that she made felt like they were getting ahead of what DOJ was able to deliver. But you know, she's got a long, deep experience in Florida as Attorney General there, and as being known as a very effective prosecutor, but also just very loyal to President Trump. And it may have been at some points that, you know, the selection this time around with a lot of his closest circle was a lot about loyalty. The first time around, he trusted other people. He trusted the experience and the recommendations. He wanted people around him like Pam Bondi, who he trusted to have his back. But I think he felt so much pressure on so many fronts to deliver and felt like she hadn't done it. And maybe this is a time where you look at your poll numbers and you say, how do I shake things up?
Shannon, so
she definitely became wildly unpopular, chat. She definitely, on both sides of the aisle, she became wildly unpopular. All right, so we heard from Fox News. Let's go over to CNN. We heard from Fox News. Let's go over to CNN and see what they got to say about this whole ordeal. We won't be on Pam Bondi.
Begin each morning with the Secret Chair Tai Chi program focused on enhancing.
Good portion of it.
Us in our fifth seat, former federal prosecutor in his own right, Ellie. She's in the unenviable position of being hated by a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Yeah. What do you think is the real reason that she shouldn't have a job right now?
Well, the reason she shouldn't have a job, or the reason she doesn't have a job? The reason she shouldn't have a job is because she carried out Donald Trump's overtly political agenda to prosecute people who wronged him politically. The reason she doesn't have a job is because she wasn't good enough at it. And I do think Pam Bondi can perhaps be a source of cross-ideological agreement. So we have Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Does anyone at this table think that Pam Bondi was a good attorney general? Speak now.
Yeah. Do anybody in the chat think that Pam Bondi was a good attorney general? Anybody? That's the question that's posed around the table right here. Let's see.
I think in some cases she was effective, in others she wasn't. Okay. I think the handling of the Epstein files undoubtedly was botched from the beginning.
Donald Trump disagrees with you because he just fired her, so he doesn't think she was any good.
Well, no, he's not saying that she had a failed first year, clearly.
Oh, it's a ringing
He
endorsement.
would have done it a long time ago. I mean, clearly, she didn't do what he wanted to get done in that particular position over the course of the year. But that doesn't mean that there were any successes.
What's the best thing she did?
Specifically at crime, crime is down. She's been making a point to go after actual criminals, including cartel-tied cells in this country. She also was the head of the AG's office, as we actually went after the Antifa groups that people pretended didn't exist for about 6 years.
These are great talking points. Let me give you some stats.
It's truth.
Crime is down across the country. That's a great thing. That's a good thing. Pam Bondi presided over the dismissal and closing out of 23,000 criminal cases, federal cases, gun cases, drug cases, violence cases, more than any DOJ since 2004. She got rid of those cases. Why? So they could do more immigration prosecutions. So yes, crime rates fell. You can attribute that to a whole lot of factors. Never believe anyone who tells you.
And they were falling long before Trump.
They were falling, but the fact is,
immigration cases.
DOJ.
Well, no crime.
Would you rather prosecute an immigration case or a gang
Crime was
case?
falling at historic rates before Trump came into office. That's also true. But I want to get to why she was fired, because I think this is important.
That is true. Crime was falling at historic rates before then. Shout out to my boy Sterling with the $10, man. Shout out to Sterling with the $10 Domo Rocks, man. Thank you so much, Sterling. I appreciate it, brother. Always appreciate your support. Always, 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 guys. Hit that like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel. And put some W's in the chat for Sterling. Put some W's in the chat for Sterling, man, for the big $10. Thank you, Sterling.
She was fired because she didn't go after Trump's political opponents. Now, Trump has put in somebody, his former personal attorney, who I presume he thinks, at least on a temporary basis, will do that. Is this where we're at right now in this country, where it's just like one attorney general after another until he gets the prosecutions that he wants?
Well, I think that's a conclusion that you could jump to. I mean, yeah, this is the second cabinet figure in a few weeks who's been fired. I think most Republicans would look at that, though, and say, look, Trump is eager to find somebody who is competent. And when you look at the things that a lot of Republicans are eager for the attorney general to do, I don't think the lawfare is, and I think as Jason mentioned, a lot of it's going after Antifa. That's a big part of it. A lot of it's going after some of the foreign money that's funding Code Pink and some of the protests.
But he wants
going
the
to
lawfare. I mean, is that appropriate?
Well, so no, but I wouldn't frame it that way. The same way that you guys didn't frame it when Steve Bannon was targeted.
No Democrat sent out a tweet asking to prosecute 3 specific people.
You had people who said that you wanted to throw
specific
Donald Trump
from a Democrat?
in jail, and you wanted to take him off of a ballot so he couldn't run for
Who are these
president.
people?
The entire state of Colorado and the Democratic Party.
Okay, so
clear.
Yo, how long have Adam Markler been on CNN? Where have I been? I know I saw him on there once, but I didn't really think about it. Like, you know, he got the whole YouTube channel and stuff, but I don't remember him being on CNN for that long. Is it like a new thing, like a few months or what? Like this is his first year? Was he on CNN last year? I don't know. Adam Markler, that's pretty cool, man. He be giving people the business, man, especially in that debate world. Oh, Adam Markler.
Clearly, this idea, the framing, I think your point is a valid one when it comes to
that is very
optics.
different from the president directing his attorney general in public, mind you, as he did. Pam, I've reviewed the 30 statements. What about Comey, Adam Schiff, Letitia? He publicly, right? He's doing this. It's very different from a state doing whatever they're doing, from a local, district attorney prosecuting a case. That is different. When the president says, why are you not prosecuting these people who I hate?
He believes broke laws.
Okay,
now,
but
you can disagree as to whether or not they broke any laws, and you can have a fair argument, I think, about the appropriateness of the president doing it. But I do think that the framing is important.
So you're defending it then?
I'm defending the president saying someone, in his view, broke the law, and we should be targeting that person. The same exact way Democrats said that about Donald Trump, and it wasn't framed as Donald Trump is being targeted as a political
Jason,
adversary.
you're making that sound as if it's reasonable, and it's not, okay? The president making a unilateral determination in his own mind that somebody has broken the law without providing, by the way, any proof of that, and then directing an investigation into that person is
calling for an
that is not appropriate. Okay, I'm sorry. If you don't like partisan prosecutions, you should also not like that.
Even if we take it as a given that there was prosecutorial oversight.
Boy, Sterling, that's a good looking woman, ain't it, Sterling? Sterling, that's a good looking woman right there. I swear she is. What's her name? Abby? Abby Phillips? That's a nice she's pleasant on the eyes, chat. She is pleasant on the eyes for sure.
Kill against Donald Trump. And I've said publicly that I believe there was, especially from the state actors, and even to an extent from some of the federal prosecutions from Jack Smith. That does not justify going out and charging Letitia James for mortgage fraud. And that was rejected by a judge and a grand jury. It does not justify charging Jim Comey. I'm no fan of Jim Comey with an age-old, flimsy perjury charge. It does not justify trying to charge Mark Kelly and Alyssa Slotkin for something that is simply not a crime. And if this is going to be the way things go, you did it to me, I'm going to do it to you. Are you okay with, let's say there's a Democrat, hold on. Let's say there's a Democratic president. There will be a Democratic president at some point in this country's future. Are you okay with them saying, this is the game now. We're gonna go seek out everyone on the other side who displeased us.
Unfortunately, that's already a talking point. J.B. Pritzker is already talking about Project 2029 and trying to put Trump officials in jail.
I'm not okay with that.
Unfortunately, this seems to be a sort of tit for tat thing. And I guess,
yeah, it is.
To your point, I mean, the system is working, right? So there was evidence that Letitia James may have committed some mortgage fraud that was looked into, and ultimately a jury of her peers decided that wasn't legitimate. So I think there was.
I'm glad the system is working against the person who's actively trying to destroy it. I mean, the beautiful part of America is that we have institutions and checks and balances that are separate from the
There go Adam. Adam about to set the record straight. Watch this.
president. You can see time and time again, Donald Trump is trying to bully other institutions under his wing. So we can look at Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. If you look at countries where the president is able to control monetary policy, these are some of the worst countries in the world, right? You do not want the president controlling monetary policy. This has happened in countries like Venezuela. Let's take this over to the DOJ. You do not want the president directing the DOJ to prosecute people, to indict people, and that is exactly what we saw. We just watched a clip of Pam Bondi saying, there will never be an enemies list at the DOJ. Well, Abby just read off an enemies list that Donald Trump quite literally sent out. Has any Democrat, did Joe Biden do that? Is there any example of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or any of them having an enemies list?
Hey, wait, I need.
Let's see how they answer that. What's up, y'all? What's up? Somebody say you in Atlanta? No, I'm not in Atlanta. Abby is a sexy woman for sure. Texas. If you pay shipping fee, I'll send them to you. Oh, I got a fan fund. Okay, gotcha. Thank y'all for subscribing and hitting that like button, man. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
James and Alvin Bragg, people literally ran on putting Donald Trump in jail. I think we can all agree that there was politicization.
So, but in answer to his question, which is important, is there an example that you all can cite of the president directing the investigation
Joe
or the
Biden's staff did
prosecution
not tweet on his behalf.
into anyone?
No, they didn't put it out there in public.
All right, well, good. I'm glad that we're in agreement on that.
There's agreement on that. The president is more public about this, and I don't think that is a smart move from
It's not that he's more public about it. It's that he is doing it when there is zero evidence that it was done by the people that he claims did it to him. You guys are attributing investigations in Georgia and investigations in New York to Joe Biden with no proof. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, it does not make sense.
There was a tradition that the President of the United States, the White House, did not talk to the Department of Justice. When I was at the White House, literally, you couldn't call the Department of Justice and ask about a press release without talking to the counsel's office first and getting clearance. This idea that the President of the United States can direct the Attorney General to go after his individual enemies is going to corrupt the entire system. And it will go, when it starts to be a Democratic president doing this, people on the table will howl when they see it. But I'll say this about Donald Trump. Nobody can program the news better than this guy. He flailed last night. Last night, he gave a horrible speech. He's bad at doing it. I understand why he doesn't do it, because he wasn't very good at it. He didn't give us any headline about the war. And this morning, he dropped this news about Pam Bondi. And now the headline of the news is about Pam Bondi, and we're not talking about that bad speech you gave about last night.
Don't worry, we'll be talking about the war coming up. Let me play. This is.
Buddy make a good point, chat. Buddy make a good point for sure. What's up, Olivia? What's up, Tim? Lock Joe Biden up today. Period. Lies. Free Pooh Shiesty, somebody said. Pooh Shiesty back locked up. You do know that's the kid that was accosted on the street by Marjorie Taylor Greene after the school massacre, right? Who you talking about, Spiderweb? You talking about who? Nothing but toads here.
Todd Blanche at CPAC a couple of days ago, just to give you a sense of what kind of positioning he is in going into this new role.
There is not a single man or woman at the Department of Justice who had anything to do with those prosecutions. Director Patel has cleaned house there too. There isn't a single man or woman with a gun, federal agent, still in that organization that had anything to do with the prosecution of President Trump.
So, Ellie, I mean, there are a lot of problems with that, including that many of the people that they're talking about are just regular civil servants doing their jobs, people who are asked to work on cases and who did them, and they were purged.
You know what galls me about that? So Todd Blanche and I were at the SDNY together. We were contemporaries. We started within a year or two of each other. And he is talking about and ginning up cheers for the fact that they fired people just like what he once was. Third year, fourth year, fifth year, line AUSAs, federal prosecutors doing their job faithfully. I have problems with some of the things Jack Smith did, but to fire the paralegals and the support staff and the FBI agents and the kid on a detail from the Eastern District of Missouri who's in his third year, that's exactly what Todd used to.
Let's get the likes up to 50, guys. Get the likes up to 50. Hit the like button on the way in. Hit the like button right now, guys. We got 100 and something people in the chat. Only 42 likes. Come on, let's get the likes up, man. Let's get the likes up. Appreciate it.
Be himself. And to go in front of that crowd, it's a different person. I don't recognize him now. And I've defended Todd Blanche publicly. When he was representing Donald Trump in the hush money case, I publicly said the criticism of Todd Blanche for defending Donald Trump is ridiculous and unfounded. But he knows what he's doing now is dead wrong. And to Jamal's point, the fundamental line that's been breached here, you can argue about who did it, but it's getting worse now, is crossing over prosecution with politics. That's a dangerous mix no matter who's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and look, one of the investigations was into Trump's role in January 6th. And if I'm old enough to remember, Republicans said that that was the way that Donald Trump needed to be punished for what he did on that day. And now all of a
sudden. All right, so let's move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. And we got one more news source that's talking about this. We have one more news source that's talking about this firing of former Attorney General Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi.
This is the Regina Sweet Cherry.
Pam Bondi. Thank you so much, Lito Hernandez, for hitting the like button. I appreciate it. Abby is a useful idiot, says Lance. Damn, Lance, that's crazy. Big hug, blah, blah, blah. All right, you're correct. I stand corrected. I can't get emotionally invested. Putin. All right.
Vitality.
Well, first, I think this is obviously, it's welcome news. I mean, Pam Bondi has been orchestrating this White House cover-up. She's been completely incompetent, the most corrupt AG in the history of the United States. She has doxed survivors, released their information, has meddled in U.S. elections, and so...
Damn. Robert Garcia came out the gate swinging, chat. He ain't holding no punches. He ain't holding no punches back. He got counters, jabs, everything you need. He got it. He came right out the gate. Oh my gosh, bro. Why is you calling my... You see that I'm live, bro. What is going on, man? Jeez, do I need to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb, bro? Thank you. Come on. Literally got to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Let me know if you can hear me right now, chat. Let me know if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Let's go.
I'm glad to see her go. And at the same time, she's set to appear before our committee in 2 weeks. And I want to remind the public and the president that the subpoena that we put in place, where all Democrats and some Republicans joined us, that subpoena doesn't say or specify whether she needs to be in her position currently to testify. It says, we want to speak to Pam Bondi, whether she's the Attorney General or not. We've already checked with the lawyers. We've checked with the committee. She is set to be in front of the Oversight Committee in 2 weeks, and now she has an opportunity to come clean, tell the truth. Her boss isn't going to be Donald Trump anymore, and it's time to get to the bottom of why there's been this massive cover-up and why the other half of the files have yet to be released.
Congresswoman Nancy Mace is singing from your same song.
Not gonna happen, buddy. Not gonna happen. I think she will probably still maintain a close relationship with Donald Trump, and I don't think she's gonna throw him under the bus unless she slip up. Unless she slip up, but I don't see it happening. I don't see them getting what they think they're gonna get just because she's not working for them directly no more. So.
Book, but I'm curious whether or not you believe that Chairman Comer, there's going to be any effort to revisit the issuance of this subpoena.
So we're having those discussions. Look, actually, Chairman Comer, days after Pam Bondi had her fake hearing in front of Oversight, where she tried to set this strange hearing and briefing a couple of weeks ago, a few days after, Comer made it clear the subpoena still stands. He realizes that a subpoena that has already been issued can only be retracted by another vote of the Oversight Committee. He can't, on his own or with just Republicans, somehow retract that subpoena. And so it is in place. He would have to come before the full Oversight Committee made up of Democrats and Republicans, the same Republicans that voted for the subpoena, and ask for a repeal. That would be very hard to do. And quite frankly, if he moves forward with that, that is a huge cover-up. Why not hear from the AG or former AG on the Epstein files? We heard from former AG Bill Barr. There is precedent to hear from former attorneys general. And if Pam Bondi does not appear, I would be the first person to submit contempt charges against her, because she has right now in front of her a subpoena to appear on April 14th.
This is a very important distinction that you're making, and I think we should underscore, frankly, that the current Attorney General, Pam Bondi, herself said over the next month she is going to transition out. So she will be, this is from an ex post today, over the next month, will be working tirelessly to transition the office of Attorney General to what she calls the amazing Todd Blanche, and she goes on to talk about her private sector work. So for at least the next month, the month of April, Congressman, she will in fact be the Attorney General. So maybe some of these arguments that some of her allies are quietly making is a moot point. I want to read this to you from The Atlantic, because I think this goes to the point that the chairman was making in our little chit chat at the top of the show. The president apparently believes that Bondi is failing to lock up his enemies because she isn't smart enough. He will eventually discover that Zeldin, or whoever replaces Bondi, also lacks the power to persuade juries to convict Trump enemies of imaginary crimes. And so the next Attorney General will eventually transition to a new job at the Shield of the Americas, or a farm somewhere upstate where they can run and play.
Damn.
Trump did demote Kristi Noem as a special envoy of Western Hemisphere Security Initiative called the Shield of Americas. What is your take on this? Because it feels like the job description at the Department of Justice has now changed into this impossible, frankly, way to serve the president, which is also, frankly, I would argue what he's asking people to do is illegal, but that might just be me.
I mean, that's right. Look, I mean, the president wants a Department of Justice that goes after his political enemies, anyone that's wronged him, complete retribution. And I think what Pam Bondi has learned, Todd Blanche have learned, is that the courts and juries aren't going to fall into whatever kind of line Donald Trump wants them to fall into. And I think this is really clear in what you just read there in from The Atlantic, is that whoever he puts in, they're going to face the exact same problems that Pam Bondi faced.
Thanks.
You have the court system in this country that in many ways is standing strong against Donald Trump. You have juries that will not take cases. You have all of these directives that Donald Trump is putting out there, executive orders, whether it's on voting or whether it's on immigration rights, that are being rejected. And Pam Bondi can't prosecute these cases because she's laughed out of court. And Donald Trump does not understand that. And so it doesn't really matter who's put in. Donald Trump is going to continue to be controlling the Department of Justice. But as Democrats and as Americans, we've got to be committed to the same exact fight, the same exact pushback that we gave Pam Bondi. We've got to do to whoever else is selected. Could be Todd Blanche. It could be a senator or two that's being mentioned. But at the end of the day, we've got to stand on justice focus on the survivors, and focus on getting the truth and transparency.
So, Congressman, let's.
I ain't gonna lie, Robert Garcia be going in sometimes. He be going in. He definitely be going in. All right. So we're gonna come back to Pam Bundy, but this is just gonna be a quick sidebar. Quick sidebar, guys. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys who are subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much to all the new subscribers in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you. Bundy is going to turn just like green. Don't believe me, just watch in my Bruno Mars voice. Shout out to Eric. What's up, Eric? What's going on? What's going on? All right, so let me know if you guys can see this article. All right, we got an article right here. All right, so Army Chief of Staff fired by Pete Hegseth. All right, the Army Chief of Staff was fired by Pete Hegseth. All right, this article published today at 9:03 Eastern Standard Time from CNBC. Okay, this is where you can find this source set right here. So, the U.S. Army Chief of Staff Randy George was fired on Thursday by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Three uh, three U.S. defense officials told Reuters in the latest purge among the Pentagon's most senior ranks. All right, even Hegseth, a former Fox News host, has moved quickly to reshape the department firing a general during wartime is nearly without precedent. All right. The Pentagon confirmed that George, who was why is it doing that? Just highlight what I'm trying to read. The Pentagon confirmed that George, who had more than a year left in his term, will be retiring from his position as the 41st Chief of Staff of the Army effective immediately. All right. So the Pentagon said in a statement, uh, the Pentagon said in a statement, it was grateful for George's decades of service. We wish him well in his retirement, it says. So, two of the officials speaking on the condition of an- anonymity, all right, anonymous. They're trying to be anonymous. I can't really say that word too good. Said Hegseth has also fired General David Hodney, who leads the Army's Transformation and Training Command, and Major General William Green, head of the Army's Chaplain Corps. Damn, they firing people left and right, right? Is this the apprentice, chat? You're fired. What is going on, chat? My goodness, they're firing people left and right. The department did not give us a reason for George's departure, which comes as the U.S. military builds up its force in the Middle East while carrying out operations against Iran. All right. The U.S. strikes in the region are largely being carried out by the Navy and Air Force, although the United States Army soldiers have been dispatched to the Middle East for air defense systems. The Army is the largest branch of the U.S. military with about 450,000 active duty soldiers. Thousands of soldiers from the U.S. Army elite 82nd Airborne Division have also started arriving in the Middle East, potentially for ground operations in Iran. All right. Okay. There had been no public signs of friction between Hegseth and George, even as Hegseth pursued controversial moves such as firing the Army's top lawyer and arranging a massive military parade to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday, which coincides with Trump's birthday. Earlier this week, Hegseth also reversed the Army's decision to investigate. Uh, wait, really? Really? Did that really happen? Earlier this week, Hegseth also reversed an Army decision to investigate Army pilots who were flying attack helicopters near Kid Rock's house in an apparent show of support for the vocal Trump backer. Man, that right there is crazy, chat. That right there is crazy. That is crazy, bro. Wow. CBS News, which first reported the dismissal, said it was not related to the Kid Rock incident. Okay, one of the officials said Hegseth, former military aide and Army Vice Chief of Staff General Christopher Leneve, will take over George's role in an acting capacity. All right. So another official added that senior Army leadership learns about George firing at the same time it was made public. Mm, mm, mm. George, an infantry officer who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, was confirmed to the top Army post in 2023. Terms in that role usually run for 4 years. All right, so his last year was 2027, I believe. He had one more year left, and they let him go, forced him into retirement. So prior to holding the top job, George was the vice chief of the Army, and before that, the senior military advisor to then Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. He was considered close to Army Secretary Dan Driscoll. The two worked together to take on large defense companies in the Army's drive to speed up weapons development and drive down cost. George removal adds to George removal adds to recent upheaval at all levels of leadership at the Pentagon, including the firing of last year's previous chairman of Joint Chief of Staff, Air Force General C.Q. Brown, as well as the Chief of Naval Operations and Air Force Vice Chief of Staff. The officer for George did not immediately respond to a request for comment. All right. So the top chief, army chief, has been forced into retirement. Some people's calling it firing, but literally, I say he was forced into retirement. So just gonna see if somebody could talk about that right here, right now. Let's
This
get
mouse
into it. Let's get into it, chat. Life is too short for Trump's bullshit. He probably tried to discourage the Iran aggression. Boots, facts, facts.
Covering all of these latest developments from Amman, Tehran, here in Doha, as well as Washington, D.C., where we'll start with Rosalind Jordan. And Ros, the Army Chief of Staff asked to step down in the middle of this war. Can you just run us through what's led to this point?
Well, there's a lot of speculation in the U.S. press, particularly in the military press, about why General Randy George has been asked to resign with immediate effect when he still had about a year or so left on his current assignment, which is serving as the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army. Mr. George, or General George, I should say, who left West Point in 1988 and worked his way up the ranks, at one point had served as a close aide to Lloyd Austin, the defense secretary during the Biden administration. And there's speculation that that might not have sat well with Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, or secretary of war, as he likes to call himself. There's also speculation that perhaps the Hegseth administration at the Pentagon wants to have people in place in the military who are willing to carry out the president's agenda. And that is incredibly unusual because the military is known for doing its work in a nonpartisan manner, that this idea that only those generals and admirals who believe in a particular political agenda should have these posts is one of the things that is raising criticism here in Washington.
At the same time, the president posted video of a civilian bridge being blown up. Is this the intensification that Donald Trump had been threatening? And are we going to see more of this?
Well, this is something that the U.S. President Donald Trump had alluded to earlier on Thursday on his personal social media platform, basically saying that if Iran does not capitulate to the U.S.'s 15-point proposal for ending the war, which started on February 28th, that the U.S.
Yeah, Olivia, you might be right, though. He probably tried to discourage the Iran aggression. You might be right. Because they letting go of everybody who's not on board with this operation. They are letting them go, right? And making up stories That's why Joe Kent went on and got up out of there. Joe Kent was like, "Man, I'm out. These people don't pose a threat, man, and I can't sit here in good conscience. I can't sit here in good faith and go along and get along with this administration." And what they do, they launched a fake investigation that he was sharing classified information. It was a lie. I'm telling y'all, man, this administration is wicked as hell, chat. This administration is wicked as hell, chat. What's up, OG in the building? OG, what's good? What's going on, OG? Oh, salute with the right, my bad. Had the phone in the left, but we salute with the right. What's going on, OG? How you doing, brother?
Would respond with more military strikes. Now, it's not clear that this was done immediately because of the president's posting on social media. Usually, there's a little more advanced time and advanced planning before the military carries out strikes. But it's certainly the timing certainly does look suspicious. Critics also are suggesting that even though the U.S. alleges that this bridge was being used to transport material to build drones, which the Iranian military has been using against targets in the Middle East, both at U.S. targets and regional targets, there are criticisms that this was primarily a civilian bridge, and the Trump administration could be opening itself up to allegations of having committed a war crime.
It's the second. I mean, come on, man. We keep doing that. I don't know what type of intel we're getting, bro, but literally, man, like it's hospitals, schools. Now it's civilian bridges, bro. Like we're just at this point, man. I don't understand what we're trying to do, what we're trying to prove. What are we trying to prove in this whole situation, this whole operation, right? Because we understand that our media is lying to us every single day about this war. They're lying to us about uh, Iran posing a threat to the United States. This is all about Israel. This is all about Israel. This is Israel's war, and I'm gonna keep saying that every single day. We are fighting Israel's war, meddling in Abrahamic wars that we don't need to be uh, meddling in.
Thank you so much, Rosalind Jordan, for us in Washington, D.C. We're going to bring in Mohammed Val in Tehran now. Mohammed, Iranian state television is saying the attack on the bridge consisted of a double tap strike. Can you just run us through what they're saying happened to the emergency crews that were responding to the first strike?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure thing.
How much do you spend on groceries?
Yeah, they're saying that that double tap is a cause of the high number of people killed and injured because after the first strike, rescue workers rushed to the scene to help those who were wounded or killed to dig up the killed people from under the rubble, and that's when. After a brief interval, a second strike happened, and that was the reason why many people were.
Look, this is a war, though. At the same time, it's a war, and they're trying to avoid collateral damage as much as possible. But it's inevitable at this point. You know, you got the Iranians arguing that the U.S. military is moving away from their bases in the region, right, and moving their soldiers into hotels and moving their soldiers into commercial offices and stuff, and so they're having to retaliate at some of these different places, and it's destroying you know hotels and destroying these all of these infrastructures. And now the people in the Persian Gulf, the neighboring countries, they're upset, and they're saying that Iran is targeting these different places, these different civilian places. But their whole argument is that Americans are putting their soldiers in these places, so how else are they supposed to retaliate? And so now you got a bridge, a whole civilian bridge that was taken out in Iran. It's really the same thing. Like it's gonna keep happening, man. It's just gonna keep escalating, escalating. I don't see this shit. I don't. It's we're not gonna win this war. I don't see us winning it, and I don't see them winning it. It's just a endless war. I mean, it's stupid. It's really just stupid at this point.
Killed. This bridge is a civilian facility, they say, and it is still under construction, by the way. And it was Nature Day here in Iran today. That's when people go out for picnic and for gatherings in nature. And some families also were there for that reason, were there around the bridge. That's why the many people were killed among civilians. It's a subject of severe a lot of anger here and condemnation among the high officials in the country. The foreign minister said this type of destruction of civilian facilities is not going to force Iran to surrender or sign a deal that is not in favor of Iran's interests, and that Iran is going to rebuild whatever civilian infrastructure is destroyed. But what can't be rebuilt is America's standing because of what he's doing to the people of Iran. Again, officials here see this as a sign of desperation, that the Americans are running out of military target. They don't know the military facilities. They don't know where they are to.
This is not Iranian media, James. This media is owned by Qatar. This media is owned by Qatar. It's not an Iranian media.
Hit at them, and now
What's
they
up,
are
Beta?
punishing the people of Iran. 90 million Iranians are suffering because of these things. We also should mention the power outages and all other institutions that have been destroyed or targeted during the last few days. And this is a pattern that is
What's up, J
increasing in
Hood?
the
I see you
country.
too.
As they say, this is because the Americans are now turning into veering towards a new approach towards this war, and it is a punishment of the people of Iran.
Okay, I want to bring in Victoria Gatenby, who's standing by for us in Doha. And Victoria, the IRGC is talking about targeting IT centres as well as bridges in a number of Gulf countries as retaliation. Can you just run us through exactly what they're saying?
Ooh, they said they finna retaliate. They about to hit IT centers. Ooh, they said they about to hit IT centers and they about to retaliate and hit bridges in the Persian Gulf. See, this shit is endless, man. It's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop.
Yeah, that's right. So Iranian media reporting that the IRGC plan to expand and extend their attacks both on infrastructure and American IT companies. Now, in terms of infrastructure, Iranian media have published a list in the last 24 hours of what it says is 10 strategic bridges that are now, it says, prime targets because of that bridge that was blown up in Iran. Those include the Sheikh Jabba Causeway, one of the world's longest causeways in Kuwait City, King Fahd Causeway, which links Bahrain and Saudi Arabia across the Gulf, and also Sheikh Zayed Bridge, which links the island of Abu Dhabi to the mainland. So really strategically important bridges across this region.
And what's so crazy is, man, you see these neighboring countries, you see them criticizing Iran more than they actually criticize the United States of America for using them and using their territory to wage this war. Like they can't see the play, like they can't see that America is actually causing this. Israel and America and Israel is actually causing this whole conflict, and meanwhile is bringing chaos into your country. It's the United States and Israel who is responsible for all of this. They're responsible for these missiles coming into Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, Dubai. It's the United States and Israel because Iran is gonna respond no matter where we are, no matter where we're located, where any of our American soldiers are, no matter where our military soldiers are, Iran is gonna naturally retaliate back to those places. But yet they want Bahrain, whatever. Yeah, Bahrain. Same with them, right? They want to give aid and territory to the United States to fight Iran. But when Iran retaliate, they want to criticize Iran and act like they're doing it for no reason. It's wild, bro. Just to watch how all this play out.
that the Iranians now say are legitimate targets because of what happened on Thursday in Iran. Now, in terms of American IT companies that are based here in the GCC, it says it will be extending its attacks to those as well. We are getting conflicting reports, though, about how successful
I don't know, bro. What up with it,
some of the attacks that the IRGC claim to have made have actually been. It has said that it targeted on Thursday an Oracle data center in Dubai. Now, that has been flatly denied by Dubai's media office, which says that those claims are fabricated and false. But the IRGC have also said that they targeted a Amazon cloud facility in Bahrain.
So what, James? It's Western media outlets that are criticized for being biased for the right wing. It's American news outlets that's criticized for being biased for the left wing. It's all of these news outlets are criticized for being biased in one way or the other, bro. Like, so what point are you trying to make, James? What are you trying to make? Like, what are you trying to say? Like, you know how much Fox News? What you want to? I just watch. Literally, y'all come in the middle of my live and you make these statements and stuff, not knowing what I've already done. I've already played multiple outlets already, left, right, and center, literally. But you coming in here criticizing these people, and quite frankly, you don't know what's true. You don't know what's false. You don't. You just have an opinion just like I have one.
Now, there was, according to Bahrain's Interior Ministry, a missile attack on an Amazon facility on Wednesday. That caused a fire, which the civilian authorities, the firefighters, did manage to contain. So it does seem like that attack did happen. The IRGC saying that they will escalate these types of attacks and target other companies. In the past, it has said it will target companies like Microsoft and Apple.
Okay, I want to bring Mohammed Val back in Tehran. It wasn't just the bridge. There were also strikes on vaccine centres. The steel factories were closed, and I believe there was also a blackout. Can you just run us through how much damage is actually being done to the state's ability to continue to function?
How much damage has been done to the state's ability to continue to function? How much damage?
Yeah, that's right. Power blackout happened for the third time around Tehran because of the strikes that targeted facilities there. And also an airport in Kashan, by the way, in Isfahan, alongside that steel factory have been reportedly struck also today. But the most outstanding one among these is the Pasteur medical factory that produces vaccines for diseases, including COVID vaccine and others. It's been around for 100 years, and it has been crucial and beneficial for the public here in Iran, for the civilians, for the health of the people. And that's why the Iranians are very angry, particularly among the leaders. They condemned this. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned it as an act of desperation again by
Iranian media says at least 8 people were unalived and 95 injured after U.S. strike on the bridge in Karaj. 5 people unalived and 95 injured. All civilians. Nobody in the military. All civilians.
the Americans. Now they are targeting civilian facilities instead of military because they don't know where to strike, and they don't care if the people here suffer because of that. But at the same time, they say that this is not going to dent the resolve of the Iranians and their capability to defend the country. And most of all, above all, it's not going to force them to go and sign a deal that is detrimental to the interest of the country here in Iran. They are looking forward to more self-defense, and they are launching missiles again at Israel, targets in Israel and across the Middle East. And that's the approach they are opting for here. No trust in the negotiations and no signs, as they say, of goodwill on the part of the Americans and the Israelis regarding a fair deal that is going to preserve the dignity and the sovereignty of Iran.
Okay, Victoria, Gulf countries obviously want to see an end to Iranian strikes on them. What 3 demands did they actually present to the UN today to try and put a stop to this?
Well, the first was essentially that they want all these attacks to stop, and they want the UN Security Council to take all measures possible to ensure that that happens. Having said that, this region is under attack. Tom, tonight we've heard in the last few hours that Saudi has been intercepting drone attacks. Kuwait's army says its air defenses have been intercepting missiles and drones. And in the last hour, Bahrain's warning sirens have been sounding again. But having said that, this is what the GCC countries have been demanding since day one of this conflict. They want Iran to stop these attacks on its neighbors immediately. The second point they made was that the UN Security Council had to take whatever steps it could to protect vital waterways, including the Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb Strait, which is...
Why ain't nobody criticizing the United States? What do they mean they want Iran to stop these strikes on their neighbors, bro? Boy. That's wild as hell. That is wild as hell. Crazy work. Crazy work, y'all. Crazy work. Alright. Nobody is hiding behind citizens in Iran. Guess it's not going as planned. Right. I seriously believe Netanyahu is now AI generated. We don't see him that much anymore. Now they want to aim at citizens and citizen infrastructures. This is what happened when these cowards hide behind the citizens. Funny about get right with Jesus, with the Son of God. The war has been over. Mm. Y'all going in the chat, man. Hit that like button on the way in. Let's get us up to 100 likes, man. Get us up to 100 likes.
I've made this statement many times that Iran doesn't want to end this war until they inflict enough damage to deter any future war. But it's hard to really tell how much success, though.
J Hud, I don't know if I answered you, J Hud, but yeah, we went over some Pam Bondi information earlier. We're gonna go over a little bit more before we end the live tonight, y'all. We ain't gonna be live for too much longer.
The US is having. Obviously, CENTCOM will put out reports that they've destroyed, or especially Israel, 70-80% of the missile launchers. Iran would say, no, that's not the case because they have them underground. Seeing the amount of bombs that were dropped on the country, the amount of targets that were hit as well, and how the amount of missiles being fired have dropped significantly, even more than the 12-day war, about 95% drop. Is it fair to say that their missile launching capabilities have been degraded, but their drone manufacturing capabilities are still there, and that is their best bet to keep the Strait of Hormuz shut, to keep striking the Gulf, as we're seeing right now with the alert I just got? We saw the Oman, one of the ports in Oman that was burning today. I'm sure you've seen that. These type of scenes you don't expect to see in the Gulf, and they continue to achieve that through their drones. They don't really need their missiles in today's age.
No, I don't agree with that.
That boy said net in Yahoo. Net in Yahoo. Hell no.
Think that they have undoubtedly lost launchers. The dramatic degradation that you're talking about, I question, because every time somebody talks about the degradation, they launch Khorram Shah 2 or 3 missiles with 1,000-pound warheads that then devastate the target wherever it is. I think what you're seeing today is that they have very precise weapons. If they fire at something, they're going to hit it. It's the exact opposite of what President Trump said the other day when he said, well, they're not very accurate. Nothing could be further from the truth. They're extremely accurate. And they don't have to fire as many missiles as they previously did to reach the target. And remember, they also fired a lot of missiles at the beginning of this thing in order to deplete the arsenal of anti-missile missiles, which were in Israel and the Gulf Emirates and states, as well as with the Navy at sea. And I think they've succeeded. I mean, I'm sure that we are getting close to the bottom. This is before we reload in great numbers. We started, I think, with roughly 8,000 missiles. I don't know where we are now. The Iranians started with 45,000 missiles. There's no evidence that they're about to run out. But what we're seeing are the best, the most accurate and devastating weapons. And I got to tell you that the engineers that I've spoken to here, and I've spoken previously to engineers in Israel that warned about this, I didn't understand at the time. This is back in 2020. But the engineers are saying that the achievements of the Iranians in missile technology are dramatic. They're
Man, Iranians are some of the most smartest people in the world, chat. In terms of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, Iran, Iran is amongst top 5 in the world in literacy, bro. Science, some of the smartest scientists, the best scientists in the world, nuclear scientists in the world, bro. And we think that these people don't have missile capacity. We think they don't have some of the best arsenal. Psh, bro, you got to stop listening to Western media. You got to stop listening to Donald Trump say that we have exhausted their missile capabilities. We've done this, we've done that. He is lying through his teeth, chat. He lying to y'all. I know y'all want to believe him so bad. I know y'all want Iran to be decimated and annihilated, like he like to say, right? Obliterated. That's what you want. But he lie. He is far from the truth, and the truth is not in him. I hate to break it to you, chat. I hate to tell you, but your president lied to you every single day about this whole entire operation. He lie every day. He exaggerate everything. Everything.
impressive as hell. And everything they hit, they devastated. Now we're shipping, as you know, a THAAD radar, and I presume more THAAD missiles and launchers to Israel.
Shout out to my boy Pyro. My boy Pyro is back in the building, man. Good to see you, man. They invented chess. That's facts, man. That's facts. Brother Dumb, I am back. My phone has been off as much as my Wi-Fi, and Iran has got some crazy stuff going on, and America is about to get problems. Facts. Pyro, man, good to see you, brother. Iran got some bad bitch. No, no cap. Diesel, you crazy.
I wonder what
From
the
South
people.
Korea.
What?
From South Korea. You're talking about the ones they pulled out of South Korea. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think our position is a little less robust than President Trump and his administration would like us to believe. And I think the Iranians are being very careful now. They're looking at battle damage. They're examining it with drone footage, but also with satellite imagery. And they are now hitting things with a very specific purpose to fundamentally eliminate capabilities. I think they're also holding back to see what will happen in the near future.
There's a great interview.
In other words, if we are stupid enough to attack Karg Island, which we've threatened to do, then they will launch, I think, everything that you can imagine against the oil infrastructure in the Gulf. They will, of course, push back any sort of restoration of the oil infrastructure for years.
So good. It tastes like a hot chocolate. I will give you $5 if you can tell me which one.
Former CIA. I'm about to look it up and see if I can find it.
I don't think that Iran is in a particularly bad shape. I think they've lost a lot of hospitals. They've lost schools. We've done a horrendous damage to Tehran. There's no question about it. But again, this is Persia. This country's been around for 2,700 years. It's not going anywhere. It has no intention of surrendering or capitulating. Anybody who's
I heard they've been around longer than 2,700 years, my man. But hey, that's a long time, though. Longer than the United States, 250 little years.
thinks so is crazy. And I think we bet very heavily on this business of internal uprising and revolt and readiness to throw out whoever is in charge. I think if we had stayed out and not bombed.
That boy Donovan in the chat going crazy right now. That boy Donovan in the chat putting out the facts. Shout out to that boy Donovan. Shout out to Sarah Azeles. Sarah. I'm gonna say Sarah. Thank you for the love, Sarah. I appreciate that.
Perhaps by the fall of this year, we would have seen a different government. I think the Iranians are ready to move beyond the old Islamic Republic. All we've done is slow it down. We've retarded that development. I think it'll still happen at some point, but we've made it harder on the country to do what it would have done naturally without our interference. But here's the key. No matter who comes to power now, Mario, will hate us. We've done enormous damage. We are not going to have a friend in that country for a very, very long time.
You're right about that.
So then we're kind of at a crossroad right now. It seems like we're at a fork, or Trump is at a fork right now. Either he seeks an off-ramp, which I think he, based on his speech.
Yo, Sarah Hazel Eyes. My bad. That is crazy. I could not see. It'd be so hard to see when y'all names are just so close together, like all together, like Donovan Valentine, Sarah Hazel Eyes. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know what I thought I was seeing. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. People think a nuke is bad, but if you have seen the power of the firebombing that took out more people than a nuke did in the beginning, there is more problems coming from America, and we are. Damn, Pyro, let it be known, Pyro. I don't know anything about the firebombing though. The nukes. I don't know. I don't know too much about those capabilities. The capabilities. Thank you for the floating heart, Sarah Hazel Eyes. No health care for you. Israel needs that money, says tech support. Free Palestine, says Lloyd. Free Palestine. We have Venezuela form of gasoline still needs to be mixed. Gaddafi loved black people, but they had to get rid of him, said J Hud. That's facts. Yes, please F me up with taxes because Israel needs free health care. Y'all going crazy in the chat right now. Y'all going crazy in the chat right now.
Based on the way I've seen him think and act, with Venezuela and tacoing in other instances, China, Greenland, I think he's wise enough to seek an off-ramp and not admit defeat, but also twist it into a victory somehow. We've destroyed their nuclear program. We've destroyed their missile capabilities. But I've been the optimist for a while, even when we had a discussion after the 12-day war, and I'm like, this is not going to happen again. You told me it will. And I've been wrong time and time again. I never thought we'd be here. And the alternative that's being talked about is boots on the ground, with a focus on Karg Island, which is where 90+% of the refining of Iranian oil happens. It just sounds disastrous to me with my limited experience. How would it look like if that does move ahead? Is there any scenario where boots on the ground makes sense in any way whatsoever?
Let me look it up and send it to myself.
Not for us, not for the United States, absolutely not. And Mario, we haven't got the so-called boots to send. Today's United States Army is a fraction of its former self. If you go back 30 years, 32, 33 years, we had 800,000 men in the Army. We were able to put 300,000 on the ground in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. We can't do that now. We don't have those forces. And remember, those forces also included Marines. And the Marines are very lightly equipped now. At least at that point, they could fight on land because they had a lot of artillery and tanks and other things. And then finally, you got to remember that we're not really equipped, trained, or prepared for the kind of warfare that we would confront. All you have to do is take a look at Eastern Ukraine and see how warfare has profoundly changed to understand that any...
Shout out to my moderator, Sterling, right there with that badge by his name, because he is one of my members on the channel, man. So shout out to Sterling, man. Sterling, man, one of my members in the chat. One of my moderators, he is also a member. He got that badge by his name because he part of the Diamond Squad. You did. You can join the membership too at the lowest tier for $2.99 a month. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. You go to the higher tier, you can use some of these cool emojis that I created right there in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We're going to get right back into the live.
Any ground force is likely to be paralyzed unless it can gain control of the space above it. And that's a very difficult process. How do you annihilate, stop, and neutralize all of these drones that fly all over the place all the time, from the very smallest that carries perhaps a grenade to the very largest? We're not prepared for that. So if we were trying to do something like this, it probably wouldn't work out very well for us. I keep trying to get people to understand something else. They just don't get it. Today's satellite-based intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance capabilities, together with the collection device.
Shout out to Cardenas. Cardenas 7 point says history has shown every great empire had a great fall. American citizens, are you researching? Mm, mm. Come on now. Let them know, Cardenas. Let them know, bro. Are you researching? Do your research. Do your homework, like J Main be saying. Do your homework. That's facts. I appreciate the $5, brother. Real talk. Appreciate that.
That we have that are in the sort of terrestrial environment mean that your opponent has pretty much persistent surveillance of everything on the ground that you do. That's very important. And because it means that, let us say we decided, well, we're very clever, we'll land on the Syrian coast because that's closer to, say, Iran. We don't have as far to march and move and so forth. Well, by the time you picked the harbor and started to bring in ships with equipment and brought in troops, you would be targeted with these missiles. They would do enormous damage. They'd kill thousands of men. In other words, how do you get out of the gate? You can't repeat what you did in 1990 and 91, this slow, ponderous buildup. It's not going to work. And then, despite the fact that I'm going to sound like a broken record because I'm sure everybody else has said this, the notion of depending exclusively on air and naval power to achieve enduring strategic outcomes is absurd. I mean, we've been through this so many times, it doesn't work. All you do is normally make things worse, and I think that's what we've done. Now, the key thing, though, for you and for me and for everybody else to understand is something that Professor Morandi said recently. He said, we do not support the status quo. We are not going to live with the status quo. We will not live with an existential threat from Israel. We will not put up with countries across the Persian Gulf who are providing access, support, and assistance to our enemies.
And that's the point. That's the point. That's the point of why. That's why Iran is sending strikes to those different places in the region, because they are providing support to Israel and the United States. And like I said earlier, you can't expect for Iran to just fold the hand. You can't expect for Iran to just say, okay, we might be neighbors, but we're not going to send missiles to your country because we're neighbors. But you, like Morandi said yesterday when we was watching that video, he said you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You can't be our neighbors and want us to stop sending strikes and you want us to stop doing this, but also you providing aid to the enemy. So you can't have your cake and eat it too, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait.
This is unacceptable. We need to understand that, because what he's effectively saying, Mario, is when this war ends, people like me who are Americans are out. We are not going to be allowed to reset bases in the Middle East. We're not going to be allowed to stage military power in the Middle East directed at Iran or anybody else. It's not going to happen. How can we accept that? I think we can accept it very easily because I have a different perspective. I think the world is better off when we're not basing troops on foreign soil. I've never liked it. I think it's a bad idea. I'm happy to get out. But in Washington, where everything is mortgaged to vanity, especially with the president, how does he accept that without saying, well, we've been defeated?
Hey, it's Ashley with 4 Patriots.
I just don't see a scenario where American troops were put out of the Gulf. Like, things must go so wrong for the US. I know they're already going wrong to an extent, but I mean, significant more damage being caused. Because I think while it's not going well for the US, Iran is being pummeled as well. You know, we're seeing over 5,500 targets struck, and Israel's going to take it to another level. They've struck their oil facilities. You saw the acid oil rain, which is just... I don't know how anyone in the world is okay with this, but there's something that Israel did, Colonel, I want to get your thoughts on. and they struck an Iranian desalination plant, a water purification plant. That was very bizarre for me because Iran doesn't really need it. They've got over 30 of them. They've also got a lot of rivers. They've got a lot of sources for water. The Gulf need those desalination plants. And if Iran responds in kind, which they've done previously, and they've already struck, I think, one in Bahrain or Qatar, if they strike desalination plants in the Gulf, then we're in a pretty scary situation where they could start to choke off the Gulf from a necessity, not a nice to have, but
Is Israel trying to commit G-side on themselves? Is Israel trying to take themselves out, y'all? So now they're targeting desalination plants, really? Because we know if Iran target their desalination plants, how do you say that word? Desalination plants. We know if Iran target theirs, it's over with for Israel. Over with. Over with. Especially for the ones in the West Bank, it's over with. Their people are gonna go through it. I can't believe they did that. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. It's the first time I heard that they struck Iran's plants like that. The first time I heard that. Wait, when did this come out? 12 hours ago? Last night?
a necessity for the people there. My question to you is, why did Israel strike the oil depots? Why did, without American approval, according to reports, why did they strike a desalination plant in Iran? And why did the Jerusalem Post put out a false story and piss off the Emirates by saying the UAE is striking Iranian targets when the UAE was not doing so, and there was no reports of them doing so? Is it the obvious, and I'm asking kind of a rhetorical question, is Israel just trying to drag the US in a prolonged war? And to what extent?
Oh, I think that's very true. I think they would like to have us in a state of perpetual warfare with the enemies of Israel. That's their view. But you need to come to terms with the reality. The Israelis don't care about anybody in the Gulf. They could care less. They don't care about anybody who is not a Jew. Let's be frank. This is the...
Damn. I didn't want to say it. He said it. He said it. I didn't want to say it, but he said it. I'm going to let him repeat what he said.
In a state of perpetual warfare with the enemies of Israel. That's their view. But you need to come to terms with the reality. The Israelis don't care about anybody in the Gulf. They could care less. They don't care about anybody who is not a Jew. Let's be frank. This is the state of Jewish supremacy. This is a war of Jewish supremacy. How many times do you have to listen to someone like Netanyahu or Ben Gvir or a host of other people tell you that? At some point, you have to take people at their word, believe what they are saying. And they don't give a damn about us. We are only useful insofar as that they can employ our military power at will in support of their goals. Is it in our interest to destroy the Iranian nation state? No. We have no interest.
I don't know, though. Shit. The way Donald Trump sounds sometimes, the way this administration sounds, it sounds like it is in our interest to destroy them. But is it really? They make it sound like it is, sir. They definitely, every day, they make it sound like it's in our interest to do so.
In that, why would we be interested in doing a thing like that? We want...
Because they lie and tell us that Iran poses an imminent threat to the United States. That's the lie that they've been telling us for a long time.
Want to trade. Trade is the lifeblood of our nation. We are a commercial state. We're not some sort of totalitarian Soviet Union that walls itself off and then tries to impose new communist regimes in other states. That's all nonsense. Israel is interested in one thing, Israel. And if Israel has to sacrifice millions of people in order for it to feel safe, in order for it to dominate the region, that is exactly what Israel will do. Now, inside the United States, this truth is finally beginning to be felt.
So what happens when Israel get their ass whooped? Are they still the ancient Israelites at that point? Are they still the chosen people of God at that point? Is the Most High still protecting them at that point? What happens if they get their ass whooped? Are they breaking the commandments of God? And so he's sending them into uh, turmoil. What happens if Israel get their ass whooped? What happens, y'all? What happens?
People are beginning to figure this out. And they're asking the question, what are we doing? What is this for? Why would we implement a draft and raise 1 million men and then move them 6,000 miles from the United States to attack people in Iran? People are asking that. What's the reason? What's the strategic purpose? Was Iran a threat to us? And people know that's not true. We've been listening to all of these lies for years. Oh, the Iranians are 2 weeks from a nuclear weapon. Iran's been 2 weeks from a nuclear weapon for at least 30 years.
Right, bro. Preach. Preach. These fucking magatards, bro. They believe all the lies, even when they repeat the lies. And you're like, bro, you said that last year. You said they were 2 weeks away last year. Year before last, you said that. 30 years, like, bro, y'all been lying for years, bro. And these magatards will still believe these people. They gotta be some of the most delusional people in the world. It's crazy.
The reason? What's the strategic purpose? Was Iran a threat to us? And people know that's not true. We've been listening to all of these lies for years. Oh, the Iranians are 2 weeks from a nuclear weapon. Iran's been 2 weeks from a nuclear weapon for at least 30 years. And by the way, if they get a nuclear weapon, they're going to nuke America. What? Why? Is there a particular reason for that? No. And remember, historically, when we went into the Gulf, we said our purpose there was to permit commercial traffic. In other words, to facilitate it.
It's just such a lie, bro. Imagine, bro. You know how many fucking countries would go after Iran if they did some shit like that, bro? If they sent the missile, like a nuke to the, these people are not about to disrupt their way of life. They're not about to disrupt their way of living, right? Like peacefully every day in the country of Iran, right? They're not about to. These people have, like I said, we talked about it earlier. They have some of the smartest people in the world. They have life going on just like everybody else. Why do they want to disrupt that by sending nukes to another country? Like nobody wants to do that. So the fact that people actually believe that claim is just like it's ridiculous to me. It's just like, bro, are you really thinking like, well, they've been unaliving Americans for 47 years. They've been doing this for 47 years. Blah blah blah. They wanna blah man, just stop it, bro. Just stop it. Just stop it.
To protect it, to encourage it, not to stop it. But then, under tremendous pressure from the Israeli lobby in the United States and the Zionist billionaires that back it, and Israel itself, we finally decided, all right, we'll go to war and we'll get the deal that you want. We'll emasculate Iran. We'll make them bow to your interests.
You said read their Quran, read your Bible. You got some bullshit in your Bible too. Go read the Old Testament. Let's not play that game, bro. Don't play that game with me, bro. Don't make me go into Leviticus. I'll pull out some shit that's gonna be like, what? You probably ain't never read. Don't play with me. I don't want to play that game. Go read their Quran. Go read your Bible. Let's point out point out some bullshit in your Old Testament. Come on now. Stop playing that. Don't play that game, bro. I can go into the Bible and talk about a lot of bullshit too, especially about the bullshit that the Old Testament talk about with women. You don't want to go there with me, but we're not gonna go there. But don't just don't act like the Quran is worse than the Bible. Don't act like that. Why you think they made the New Testament? They tried to ease up on some shit. They made the New Testament to ease up on the bullshit that was going on in the Old Testament. That's why they made it. Stop playing with me.
and what you want. After all, that's happened in the Gulf. That's what the Gulf states have done. Effectively, Saudi Arabia has done that. Has anyone ridden to the rescue of the Palestinians who are being murdered or expelled from their homes? Has the Egyptian army said we have a moral obligation to our brothers?
And I'm not defending the Quran. I don't, quite frankly, I don't read it either. I don't follow the Quran at all. I'm not defending it, but just just stop that bullshit, bro.
To cross Israel's border and protect all of these people who are being driven from their homes and killed? No.
Remember how Uber completely changed the game for taxi?
What about the Turks? There's the 500-pound gorilla in the room. The largest army in NATO, a powerful state, supposedly Muslim, supposedly feeling solidarity with Muslims everywhere. And what have they done? Nothing. And Syria, what's happened in Syria? We removed the moderate who actually ran the country and essentially tolerated Shiites, Jews, Armenians, Christians. We got rid of him. We replaced him with an ISIS al-Qaeda alumnus. That suits Mr. Netanyahu. That seems to suit Mr. Erdogan. But now we see the Israelis moving north in Lebanon. Eventually, the Israelis are going to move north in Syria. What will the Turks do at that point? The only nation state in the region that has said no thank you to Israel is Iran. And so it had to be attacked. It had to be destroyed. Only it refuses to be destroyed. And it refuses to capitulate. That's the stark truth.
The only country in the region that said no to Israel was Iran, ancient Persia. Douglas speaking facts, put a 1 in the chat. If Douglas is speaking facts, put a 1 in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Non-believers, blah, 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 blah. Y'all done changed up the whole subject. Y'all done changed up the whole subject in the chat.
What happens if Trump seeks an off-ramp and Iran refuses that?
Well,
they want to continue the war as we said to the toe.
Iran has already said we are not going to negotiate. Forget it. You've had it.
So what happens if they keep bombing Israel? What happens if their capabilities don't get eroded and the US pulls out and they keep bombing Israel to ensure it never happens again? What could Israel do next?
It presupposes that we can disengage. See, I don't think Mr. Trump has had this conversation with Mr. Netanyahu, because without us, Israel is going to have a tough time surviving. This is a world-changing event in the Gulf. Sykes-Picot is over. Everyone's had it. And the Muslim people who live in all of these countries have had it, even if they're elites who are wealthy and enjoying the good life don't necessarily agree with them. The truth is the vast majority of Muslims, Arab, Turks, and Persians have had it. So the old Sykes-Picot arrangement is dead. So what's going to happen? I don't think we can just arbitrarily disengage. We're going to have to come to terms of some kind, and I think we know what those terms are. Iran is going to say, America out of the Gulf. And I don't think that the people that are living in the Gulf, by the time this happens, will object to that, because they now know we cannot protect them. Have you been protected by the United States Armed Forces? No, we can't do it. We cannot protect them. We can't even protect Israel, although we're doubling down on trying to do that with everything that we've got. By the way, if you're in the GCC, you're watching where all the missiles are going, where all the radars are going and the assistance. It's all going to Israel. It's not going to them. So what are we going to say? Are we going to say, no, we're going to stay in Israel, or excuse me, we're going to stay in the Gulf in perpetuity and you just keep on bombing? I don't think so. Remember, there is this entity out there called the American people, the American electorate, they're not interested.
Yeah.
They don't want to stay there. They don't buy into this. What about the rest of the world? I mean, even if everything stopped right now, how long would it take to get the oil back online?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very important point.
This is going to take a long time. We've done in many cases not just months of damage, but years of damage to our friends and to the Iranians.
I think Douglas make a lot of good points, man. A lot of good points. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on real quick. See what's going on with this channel right
This
here.
records conversations better than taking notes.
Damn, what did I just do? I just did something. Oh, okay.
Plus, most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, breaking news. President Trump fires Attorney General Pam Bondi. It's the second major cabinet shakeup in just weeks. The two spotted together 24 hours ago. What sources say was behind Bondi's ousting, failed political prosecutions, and the Jeffrey Epstein files. Tonight, who will replace her at the Justice Department? Pierre Thomas is standing by.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
Breaking news in the historic mission to the moon, the critical next step for the Artemis 2 astronauts blasting toward the moon. Gio Benitez with late reporting. Tonight, oil prices are surging after President Trump's first primetime speech to the nation on the war in Iran. The president vowing to escalate the attacks, posting video of the bombing on the tallest bridge in the Middle East. Trump warning Iran to make a deal before it's too late. Iran firing back at Israel and the Gulf states, and the critical Strait of Hormuz essentially shut down. So how much higher could energy prices go?
How much are y'all? Ooh, what is that? California? Full service regular gasoline at 7.76. That gotta be Cali. 6.95. Full serve plus 7.05. Full service premium 7.15. Damn, how much fuel is where y'all at? How much fuel it is where y'all at? How much fuel is, guys? How much y'all prices are? Somebody said flat earthers are pissed that rounders mocked them with a fake launch on April 1st.
Rachel Scott reports from the White House. Just in tonight, the Army's top officer forced to step down. We'll go live to Martha Raddatz. The dramatic new body camera video of the arrest of Tiger Woods, accused of DUI. The moment officers realized it was the golfing great who'd rolled over his Range Rover and taking a field sobriety test.
So at this time, you are under arrest for DUI. Yes, sir.
The stunning testimony from the doctor.
Damn, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, 379 in Alabama. Shout out to Alabama, man. Blake said he in Alabama. Upstate 385. Shout out to Upstate New York. Kundalini King says 380. 380 where? St. Louis 380. Cheap 433 for regular. And 519 for mid-grade premium, says Aunt Esther. Europe is like $10. Damn. Cardina says, hell, I guess Pam Bondi wasn't evil enough for his agenda of going after his political enemies, right? Right? Europe is in liters and they use diesel. Gotcha. You know shit, Sherlock, but it still adds up to $10 for a gallon. Oh, y'all going crazy in the chat. Goddamn Tiger Woods ass done got arrested for a DUI. Damn Tiger Woods, man, you just can't never get out the limelight, can't you, bro?
Doctor accused of trying to kill his wife on a hiking trail in Hawaii. The intense scrutiny by prosecutors. The dangerous back-to-back storms, tornadoes, destructive winds, and ice just as millions travel for the holidays. The chilling new video just coming in, a suspect shoving a man in front of a moving train. And a new development late today, a judge throws out most of actress Blake Lively's claims against Justin Baldoni. And America Strong tonight, the 8-year-old whose stuffed creation is now part of America's mission to the moon.
From
Man, he tried
ABC
to push
News
bro
World
in the train. He
Headquarters
tried
in
to
New York,
unalive him by pushing him
this is World
into
News
an
Tonight
ongoing train.
with David
That's
Muir.
crazy.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks
That's
so much for
wild.
joining us. I'm Lindsay Davis in for David. A short time ago, a critical next step in the historic Artemis 2 moon mission. 24 hours after lifting off, the 4 astronauts on board triggered an engine that set them on a course to the moon. More on this in a moment. But we do begin with that breaking news. President Trump's firing of Attorney General Pam Bondi, his second cabinet shakeup in a month. Bondi is a longtime Trump loyalist who helped defend him in his first impeachment trial. Just yesterday, she was seen accompanying him to the Supreme Court for arguments on ending birthright citizenship. But the president was reported to.
Yo, look at Cash, y'all. Look, why Cash? Look at Cash, y'all. Look. Goddamn Cash. Y'all see Cash over there? I know y'all see Cash. Y'all don't see him on the video? Oh, they can't see him over there. They can barely see him on the screen. Hold on, let me see if I can move him over. Y'all gotta see this. Look at Cash, y'all. Hold up. Let's see if it move over real quick. I just moved it over. Let me see. Hold on, Cash. Hold on. Come on, move it over. There it is. Oh my gosh, Cash on that. Somebody said he on coke. Hell no, Cash. Hell no, Cash. Goddamn Cash.
To have grown impatient with Bondi's lack of success in prosecuting his
Right?
enemies and
That's
her
right.
PR blunders on the Epstein case, including a combative hearing on Capitol Hill. But Pam Bondi does leave the Department of Justice more firmly under his control. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas leads us off tonight.
Despite being perhaps the most loyal attorney general in recent history, Pam Bondi is out.
President Trump, the greatest president in American history. President Trump is the most transparent president in American history.
Today, President Trump posting on social media that Bondi, whom he called a friend and an American patriot, will be transitioning to a much-needed and important new job in the private sector. Bondi and Trump seen as recently as yesterday outside the Supreme Court. But sources telling ABC News Trump had been frustrated for months about Bondi's inability to bring successful prosecutions against some of his enemies like former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James.
We have to act fast. If they're not guilty, that's fine. If they are guilty or if they should be charged, they should be charged.
And he was not happy with the way Bondi and DOJ handled the Jeffrey Epstein files, at times frustrated over repeated questions about the case.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Talked about for years. Are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Bondi had gone to the White House promising transparency, but handing out mostly old Epstein files, leaving many of Trump's MAGA supporters underwhelmed. And there was this moment on Fox News.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
But DOJ later trying to shut down the release of the Epstein files and acknowledging there was no list. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles said on the record in a Vanity Fair interview that Bondi, quote, completely whiffed on Epstein. Democrats celebrating her departure, with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer saying good riddance, claiming that DOJ had been turned into a political weapon. But Republican Charles Grassley, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, thanking Bondi for her work and touting that she had helped bring violent crime down to historic lows. Bondi becomes the second major cabinet official to...
Bro, they love saying that, bro. They love saying that, chat. They love saying that, chat. Y'all going crazy in the chat, man. We almost at 100 likes, man. Get those likes up, line that there was no list, right? Y'all going crazy in the chat. We about to shut it down. Bye-bye, Bundy. Bye-bye, Bundy. Bye-bye. Y'all done got into a religious argument, man. We about to shut it down, though, y'all. And we're going to pick up again tomorrow. because your boy got to get going. I know y'all having fun in the chat, but the Dow, the Dow, the Dow, the Dow. I can't believe we stopped on that video that picture right there. Look at that picture of Miss Bondi. Oh my gosh, Miss Bondi. We almost at 100 likes, but we ain't gonna get it today, guys. We finna go ahead and cut the live. I've been live for 2 hours, so we gonna go ahead and stop it. That was my plan. That was my goal, was to do 2 hours tonight. That was my plan. That was my goal, was to do 2 hours tonight. And um, we may come back. I gotta go. I gotta go and check in. Honestly, I was supposed to been checked in, but I gotta go get going. So much love to everybody who subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. Thank you so much for tuning in and going to war in the chat. Tomorrow, mood profit is when we got to let go regardless in the now. Tomorrow mood. What is happening right now? I don't know what's going on. But anyways, guys, have a great night and happy Friday to you all. Much love to you all. We'll see you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves and God bless you all. See you later.